All right, guys, welcome to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for blurs and nerds, and basically for everybody to enjoy. So if you definitely love something, guess what? You're a nerd. Welcome to the club. I'm your host, the most Will Buchanan. Of course, with me, as always, I cannot say high-pitched intern, but Joe, how you doing tonight, man?
This time I am the hammering hunting hero, Joe Tonello.
Hammering hunting. Try saying that 5 times fast. But
No.
but aside from that, guys, like I said before, we are a family-friendly podcast. We do try to watch our language. However, sometimes we do show trailers or anything of that nature. They may sometimes be graphic for young viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. As you've seen from the topic, guys, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I'm going through Marvel withdrawals right now. And I hate to say that because we had 2 great series. We had WandaVision, which, again, had a whole bunch of us guessing and still guessing. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier did wrap up last week, of course. If you have been under a rock and haven't seen that, that was a great series as well. Only to turn around and find out that Loki, we're still a ways off from the next Marvel miniseries, Loki, which won't be for another couple of weeks. So, Joe, I don't know about you, dude, but it's like you gotta have that lull after having a great. Even though Falcon and the Winter Soldier was just 6 episodes, it was still a great series, and now we're kind of like, now what?
Well, next is the Bad Batch.
Right, which won't be until
Next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah, May 4th.
Okay. Oh, I was gonna say insert bad Justin Timberlake joke. I was wait. You know what? I'm glad you didn't do it because I have seen so many "It's Gonna Be May" memes.
Oh, is that
out.
a thing?
Yes, and it's gonna get worse tomorrow. It is gonna get. If you haven't, Joe, I'll be honest with you. If you haven't ran into that from your side of the world, you're lucky. But it's like,
Yeah.
it's like here's gonna be tomorrow. I wouldn't even say tomorrow. I honestly think sometime midnight they're gonna start. But yeah, you're exactly right. The Bad Batch does actually come out, and I completely forgot about that because I kind of got my dates mixed up in my head right now. But yeah. So here's the Bad Batch, which again is following the, I won't say renegade clones, but they want to say these are the clones that don't really
No,
follow
these
the
are
rules.
like the, not the Suicide Squad, but, well, the more refined version of the Suicide Squad, they're like the Task Force X.
Yeah,
Like, they know they're going on missions that will kill them.
yeah. So it's always something like that. So yeah, somewhat of that, I'll give you that. But yeah, I forgot about the Bad Batch. But aside from that, like I said, we don't really have a lot in the news world because, again, with this kind of being a slow week, let's just go ahead and go forward. I was surprised about Black Lightning. Not to give too many on top of that, but thank you, Black Lightning, for finally going dark in an episode. It only took you your final season to do it. At the same time, you went so dark that it was almost disturbing, like psycho disturbing. Again, I say the same thing about Black Lightning in the same sense I have said about Supergirl, in the same sense that I have said about a lot of these CW shows. They need to end. Because, honestly, the story hasn't been there. It doesn't look like it's going to get there. And your spinoff, Painkiller, doesn't really look like it's going to gain traction either. So, I have to give Black Lightning credit this week. I'll give you kudos for trying a swing at the bat. Even though it was low and away and you still managed to foul ball the crap out of it, at least you tried. It's just, that whole prison scene with Lynn and being cavity searched, it's just, I mean, really, Black Lightning, I had hopes. I had such high hopes. But I know, Joe, you kind of gave up on Black Lightning. But then again, I don't blame you because just like Batwoman, you gave it a fair shake. There's just some things that hook and some things that just don't work. And unfortunately, with Black Lightning, it just isn't working.
Meanwhile, Kung Fu continues to impress.
Kung Fu I'm surprised about. It is a sleeper. It is a sleeper. It is like Jackie Chan. Like you called a long time ago. It's like Jackie Chan Adventures with a female lead. Nothing wrong with that. And I like the fact they're trying to build it up. And I like the fact they're trying to build it that way. And they're not trying to make it seem like it's the, cookie cutter, martial arts, woman empowerment type of thing. I like the fact it's not going that route. There's a plot and there's actual subplots that actually tie the whole story together. So I can't be mad about Kung Fu. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop because there has to be the way the story is going, it's like, okay, every week is going to be a certain weapon that they're trying to find. It's like, okay, there's got to be a wrench in the monkey plan somewhere with the storyline. That's what I'm waiting for.
This will probably end up like Jackie Chan Adventures, where they're going to get weapons, they're going to lose weapons, or this is going to go the Kamen Rider 5's route, where everybody steals everybody's belt, nobody talks to each other.
Yeah.
Then everybody gets their belts back, and then everybody loses their belt, and still no one talks to each other. Until somebody's dead, and they don't realize who died.
Pretty much.
And then everybody hates Kaiser, but he still gets his own national holiday.
Funny, isn't it? But no, I mean, but I will say about Kung Fu, like I said, for all those who are wondering where Superman and Lois, that is still in hiatus because we said it before. Superman and Lois unfortunately got hit by the COVID bug. COVID halted a lot of production, so they ran all the Superman and Lois episodes up until COVID. However, I think it's May 15th,
18th or something.
I think it's 18th. I think May 15th or the 18th, one of the two.
The weird thing is the shown Superman and Lois episodes are on HBO Max right now.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess that answers that deal about with Warner Brothers. With Warner Brothers and HBO Max, I guess they're maximizing that deal out. Well, again, because they still have other movies coming out. Suicide Squad is still going to be on HBO Max. I want to say the Batman, if I'm not incorrect, will also be on HBO Max. Well, Matt Reeves, the Batman, will also be on HBO Max. So I guess they're just maximizing that HBO Max deal as best they could because, again, with the world trying to open back up, movie theaters. I don't know if movie theaters will survive it. I think the subscriber watching movies from home thing is actually going to get a life of its own. We'll see.
I mean, technically, you are not wrong. The animated series, which is criminally underrated, The Batman, is indeed on HBO Max.
Yeah, which actually I liked. I mean, it's not the Brave and the Bold, but it's all right.
It gets better as the season goes on. It gives me my favorite iteration of Black Mask.
Agree or disagree. not to go down that rabbit hole. Agree or disagree. But I will say,
I think design-wise, he's my favorite.
Okay, I give you that. What else was I gonna say? So Superman and Lois, for so far as CW shows go, the good ones in my opinion. They're even gonna bring back Stargirl, which again, wasn't my cup of tea. Some people liked it. Supergirl.
Love that series.
Say what?
But I'm too intrinsically tied to that series. Did not love it.
You love it or you don't love it, Joe?
No, I do love it because I'm so intrinsically tied to that series.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
I costumed the actual Starman. Not Joe McHale's Starman, Jack Knight's Starman, who gives the Star Rod to Courtney Whitmore in the comics.
Gotcha. Okay, because I was going to say the one with or without the leather jacket.
The leather jacket.
Okay. Because that's the only way I can identify which Starman is which. That's sad, isn't it?
There are 6 of them, and one of them is Batman, so...
Yeah. I had to think about that for a second. Like, wait a minute, you're talking about which Starman? Because that's the reason I had to kind of wait. There's 2 distinct ways of knowing which one you're talking about.
Not the disco blue one. Not the one with the shepherd's cane. Not the one with the pin on his head. Not Batman. Not the one that only lasts 2 pages in the comic book.
That's still funny. That's still funny. But like I said, they're actually going to be bringing back those shows. I think May 18th is kind of be the launch off point for Superman and Lois, for Superman and Lois to come back, for Stargirl to come back, and I think Flash will actually bring back episodes, if I remember correctly from my looking back at the guides before this podcast started. I think the Flash will actually be back with a new episode next week, if memory serves me right. So, as I was speaking with, like I said, we speak among ourselves in our forum on Facebook, and I've said this before we move on to the next bit. The CW kind of needs to wrap up these shows that aren't doing well. And I forgot about Legends of Tomorrow, which will be somehow coming back. I don't know how.
Well, apparently there's an animated episode, so there's that.
I mean, it's like, don't get me wrong about Legends of Tomorrow. I like the fact that when it first started, you had Captain Hunter, you had Heatwave and Captain Cold. You kind of had it was a ragtag group of known DC characters But, you know, it was their own story. And I dig that. And now it's just like, I'm not going to say it's on life support, but it's pretty freaking close. It's like, don't get me wrong, the 2 seasons with Constantine in it was great. Don't get me wrong. What's his name? The guy who plays Constantine.
Oh.
I can't think of his name. I was about to say something else. I can't think of his name who plays Constantine. I want to say Matt something.
Matt Ryan, the man who is literally just Constantine?
Yes, thank you. I know it's Matt something. I was like, it's not Reeves. I know it's Matt something. But again, those 2 seasons of him playing Constantine on DC's Legend of Tomorrow was great. I love the fact they brought in Tom Wellington's Lucifer as a way of tying Lucifer to John Constantine in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. I love that. But it's just, the story itself on Legend of Tomorrow just seems to not go anywhere. It just really doesn't. I mean, but again, who am I to judge? It's a story that's basically supposed to be over the top anyway. Maybe this season will not disappoint.
Well, I mean, there's a JLI mixed with a linear men. I mean, they really don't have a purpose other than making sure time flows properly.
Even though they screw it up even worse.
Well, that's why I said there's a JLI of the linear men.
That's true. I'll give you that. I didn't hear that the first time, the JLI. Damn. Hang on a second. I'm trying not to laugh. I'm failing miserably.
This is why speaking as co-host. I can break them.
Oh man, it just took me. That took me a second. But no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure some viewers are gonna follow it. It's just in my opinion. Let me be honest. I'll still be watching Legends tomorrow. At least it's better than Batwoman. But aside from that, speaking of actually great series ending, and of course I meant to say finale, not ending, because anybody who's been under a rock or haven't been watching Amazon did not realize that Amazon was all too proud to run their commercials over and over again about Invincible, Amazon Prime's Invincible series being renewed for a season 2 and a season 3. Robert Kirkman and Steve Yoen were actually on the commercial, and Kirkman was trying not to spill the beans, like, oh, we got picked up for a season 2 and season 3, and honestly, if you have not seen Amazon Prime's Invincible, you really should. I would say, as me and Joe have said this from Jump Street, this is an adult comic, which means it's an adult show. Treat Invincible the same way you treat The Boys. You don't let your kids watch The Boys. Don't let your kids watch Invincible.
Even I don't watch The Boys.
You don't like them?
I can do the animated gore, but I am not somebody who goes out of the way for gore's sake.
Okay, fair enough.
And I understand that this is very much a Watchmen deconstruction of the superhero.
Yeah.
But I've already seen Watchmen, so...
Okay, fair enough. I give you that. I mean, I love The Boys. I actually got into the television show before I actually got into the graphic novel. That actually led me to the graphic novel, and the graphic novels, whoo! Oh, that graphic novel goes way worse. But anyway, Invincible. I know, guys, like I said before, Invincible, I actually had to go back and go pick up, which, by the way, Invincible, the graphic novel itself, is sold out, which goes to tell you that a lot of people love the animated series and actually realize there's a graphic novel for Invincible, and right now it is hard to find anywhere, especially on Amazon. Say what?
So for our Nashville viewers, you can actually find all 3 compendiums over at Rick's Comic City in Donaldson.
How long? It's I'm about to say. If you announce it, it'll probably be gone by tomorrow.
I mean, I'm picking up the Chip Zdarsky Daredevil, so it's not going to be me.
Ooh.
That's not to say I'm not buying it because I don't like it. I've heard way too much about this Chip Zdarsky Daredevil for me to pass up.
I will reserve judge. I will hold judgment till you read it. But yes. But for that, let me get to the season about. But the season finale of Invincible again, guys. If you haven't seen it, yes, we're gonna talk about it just because it would be hard not to call it spoilers because the last episode, if you've been watching Invincible, has led up to this point. That of course Omni-Man has revealed exactly why he killed the Guardians of the Globe, exactly why he's training his son. And the build-up, if you've never seen this before, think about it this way. If you watch Dragon Ball Z and you've seen the plot for Dragon Ball, and just think if Goku went dark side. That's pretty much Omni-Man.
So Goku Black.
Yes. Except instead of trying to blow up the planet, he wants to enslave the planet and add it to his already empire.
So Garlic Jr.
Correct. I was gonna say less Goku Black, more Garlic Jr. But yes, in this story, he does reveal that, of course, Vermeer is not the peaceful planet that we all thought it was. Apparently, it is a war-torn, empire-like, enslaving planet in which they send out their people to low-level planets in order to make them ready to be able to join the empire. Which, in this case, Omni-Man believed, since his son showed virile powers, that now would be the great time to enslave Earth and add him to their ever-growing empire. Of course, Mark would again fight his father, but knowing he couldn't because Omni-Man beat the brakes off of his son. Almost to the point to where he would kill him until he realized he couldn't do it, just because he now decided that he wanted to be a dad. Of course, at this point, Mark was actually recovering. Omni-Man has left the planet, supposedly went back to Vermeer, which means that next season sets up probably an interplanetary war between Vermeer and Earth. At the same time, Mark may wind up facing his dad in a full-on fight, and will he be ready to do so, since he's now taking the place of Omni-Man, which is kind of the gist of what happened with the season finale. It's just that now it's kind of like, I would say where does it lead from here, but honestly, let's just be honest about that. We're going to be looking at a father versus son fight sometime in season 2. We might see it at the beginning of the story. We might see it at the very end of season 2. But because it's a season 2 and there's a season 3, they might actually include a whole brand new story before the actual interplanetary bladder, before the battle between Vermeer and Earth actually happens. But overall, in my opinion, it was really a solid episode. I was kind of disappointed, but let's be honest, there's only so many ways you can go explaining why aliens want to take over a planet. Let's just be honest, it's either enslavement, it's either resources, or, just using humans like batteries, i.e. the Matrix. So I'm not mad about that setup. Could there have been something more original? Possibly, but let's be honest, this is basically a superhero that had no problems killing other people, especially the train scene. Dear God, that was... I'll give it to you when you say Joe about gore, but the train scene in the Invincible season finale where he made his son into a salad shooter, if you will. That's about the best way I could put that description of it. It did set up for some definitely dark spots in Invincible, but what did you think of the season finale?
Humans are surprisingly fragile.
Ain't that the truth?
No, this was really good. It definitely did have the Dragon Ball Z fights, especially when they became a blue aura, red aura smash. We got the most quotable line in all of Invincible. What will you have in 500 years?
Right. He went a Martha route.
Right. We already know that Immortal is not dead because he's literally called Immortal.
Mm-hmm. This guy restitched.
All you gotta do is just line the pieces back up, and he kind of takes care of himself.
I just thought about that. It's just like you just reattach the pieces and he's back alive. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I really enjoyed it. I love this show. The cast is fantastic. I really, really like Sandra Oh. I love that they expanded on her role because she's kind of an afterthought after a while in the comics until other things make her important again. But she was kind of forefront in all this. It's also nice to know that Nolan actually spared quite a bit of his actual friends prior to it. Mm-hmm. Yes, he removed the superhero community out of the way for the takeover, but Mark Hamill's character, whose name escapes me, the costume maker.
Oh yeah, shoot, I can't think of the guy's name. But I know what you're talking about.
You're thinking he's gonna die because he obviously knows. Because Nolan's not an idiot. He knows, but he's my friend.
I mean, you had a drink with the guy on the roof. We thought that was the end right there.
Oh yeah, no, I literally thought that was it. So when they went back to his shop and he's drinking, it's like, well,
He let him live.
yeah, he let him live. I mean, he knows he's not a threat, and what he does is just what he does.
Yeah, he hates Cecil's guts, which again I was like, which again that makes me want to go back and read the comics. Like he hated Cecil from Jump Street, which tells you that Cecil either he has done something to Cecil or vice versa, to where those two are on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Well, the interesting thing and this is something that may go later on down the road, so I don't know if this constitutes the spoilers, but Mark is not aware that Cecil's using the Reaniman.
Right.
Because all three of those Reanimen that were fighting Nolan were destroyed prior to Mark showing up. So there's a betrayal moment in the works.
Yeah. I mean he did actually save the guy that actually had those I'm not gonna say them half human, half robotic helmets. Where they were...
No, that's what they're called. They're called Reanimates.
Oh, Reanimates? Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so, I mean, that guy's still alive, even though he was still mad that all his creations got defeated in one shot. But no, I mean, I'm looking forward to it as far as what Season 2 brings. But again, with Invincible, like I said before, it's just like The Boys. Please let your kids watch it. Don't come back to us saying we told you it was safe. It is not safe for children. But again, we should be surprised it's from the same guy who did The Walking Dead. So that alone, take it as you will.
Well, we had to guess what Season 2 and Season 3 would be. My guess is we'll just call it the Clone Wars.
I can see that.
And the Viltrum Wars.
I think that's gonna be toward more Season 3 because they got 2 seasons.
No, that's Season 3. I think
Season 3. Okay.
we're gonna do. I think Season 2 will be. We'll just call it Clone Wars. I refuse to spoil anything
Okay.
for anybody. And then obviously Season 3 will be the Viltrum War.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I'll make sure of. So aside from that, I did want to talk a little about Yusuke. I'm not gonna spoil Yusuke on Netflix just because it is just recently out. I will say that it's 6 episodes.
So my question about this real quick, was this supposed to be what Chadwick Boseman was going to do prior to him passing away? Wasn't he supposed to be doing voice work for this?
He was actually going to do a live action.
Live action. Okay,
yeah.
I knew he had something to do with Yusuke, but I wasn't sure if it was voice work or what he was doing with it.
Yeah, no, his was going to be live action because they actually had him train for the role and he was actually losing weight. So the role that he was going to do for Yusuke would have been live action. This one by Lakeith Stanfield, he's actually behind this one along with Lotus. I can't think of the guy's name, Lotus Blom or something like that. But he was actually behind this one, which is the animated series for Netflix. Now, again, I'm going to make this as spoiler-free as humanly possible because basically, guys, this is just recently out. I will sit there and say this: it is definitely 6 episodes. It is worth watching. I'll put it this way. The best way I can describe this is that the anime is very fluid. It's almost like Afro Samurai meets Samurai Champloo. So if you've seen both of those animes, you're going to get a hybrid of this, which is not bad at all. It's actually free-flowing. The music, the soundtrack, the actual aesthetics of it all is definitely great. The story they went with to explain Yusuke as the historically the first African American samurai is definitely worth watching. I will say this: it is in the PG-13 area, so there are going to be some scenes that may or may not be suitable for young viewers. So take your discretion as far as how you want to go from there. But overall, the 6 episodes, I think they intended this as a short run. Again, I'm not trying to spoil this for you, but you'll definitely watch all 6 episodes and see where it's coming from. But story-wise, I mean, it was solid. It got to the point, and at the same time, the action's definitely there. So, if I had to give a recommendation on anything, I would say this is definitely worth watching if you get the chance to watch on Netflix. So,
is this better than Cannon Busters?
What was wrong with Cannon Busters?
You literally had Schwartzbruder from G Gundam in the series.
I didn't think Cannon Busters was bad. I didn't think.
No, I'm not saying it's just good or bad. I'm asking, is it better than Cannon Busters?
Story-wise, yes.
Okay, that's all I need.
I will say story-wise, yes, it is better than Cannon Busters. But like I said, it's in the I can't think that artist's name to save my life right now. The artist that drew Samurai Champloo. It's almost in that style of artistry, which I think is what actually gets it, because that whole visual side of it is what grabs you as far as the show goes. But no, I mean it is definitely.
I think the artist is LaShawn Thomas.
For Samurai Champloo or for Yusuke? Because he was also
for Yusuke.
Yeah, he's in Yusuke. I was thinking about the artist for Samurai Champloo. I can't think of his name. Yeah, I can't think of his name to save my life right now. Because it's kind of his and LaShawn Thomas's art drawings, as far as animations go, are very, very similar, and I cannot think of that guy's name. But like
written by Masaru Gotsubo, so.
It's written, it's not drawn. I can't think of that guy. It'll come to me later. I'm not gonna worry about it. It'll come to me later. But again, I know Joe. You said you haven't seen Yusuke yet, right?
No.
Okay, so you'll definitely. I'll put it this way: when you get a chance, you're definitely gonna like it. You're not gonna be disappointed by it. But it's like I said, it was one of those surprises for me. And I know, guys, I talked about also on Amazon Prime, Without Remorse. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually watch as of yet. So I won't actually do a report on that until I actually can get to watch it. However, one of us was able to watch Justice Society movie, which I kind of said on a podcast many moons ago that just recently got released. I haven't got to watch it, but Joe did. So, Joe, would you like to give your take on the movie?
Yes, so this was actually very enjoyable. This is a direct sequel to the new. This is part in the new DC animated universe continuity, which kicked off with Superman and Man of Tomorrow. This is a direct sequel.
Okay.
So first off, bravo to them for not making the first sequel to Superman Batman. This is actually a Flash movie. Barry is the most precious cinnamon roll there ever was in this film, because he's just 100% Barry Allen in this. This is one of those, I travel back in time. This is a movie, and then Jake Garrett just is like, time paradox, never go home. Right. Then he, 20 seconds later, in this movie I saw, Jake Garrett, again, time paradox, never go home. It's like, right. But this is, and I'm not going to spoil anything, you get a very surprising amount of cameos with some characters. Your final villain is not exactly who you expect it to be. In fact, I don't even know who the main villain is, which is pretty rare for me, but the proxy villain is surprising. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
They very much are going with the Gal Gadot version of Wonder Woman, because this Wonder Woman is kind of like New Frontier, where she's a very tall, statuesque Wonder Woman.
Okay.
But she has that vague European accent that Gal Gadot does. But it's just wonderful because she keeps grabbing Barry Allen and holding him way above what he can reach. His feet, and he just kind of dangles there every so often.
I'm sorry. I can just see that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's great. And the two Flashes playing off each other are wonderful, because it's one of those, I'm normally not running. I'm running much faster, and Jay's like, you're going about as fast as me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, man. Okay.
And the best thing about this is they're teaching each other Flash tricks, which I love that to death. This is just a great Flash movie. They have an excellent cast. Matt Bomer is Barry Allen, and Stana Kotick or something is Wonder Woman in this.
Oh wow! So one from White Collar and one from Castle. Okay.
Yep. We also get Hourman in this, a Jay Garrick Hawkman, which is, according to the movie, the fourth incarnation of Hawkman, because this is taking place in World War II.
Okay.
Who is an Egyptian at this point, an ancient Egyptian and reincarnated as a modern Egyptian. And Black Canary, but it's Dinah Lance, not Dinah Laurel, because this one has her Carrie screen.
Okay.
They're having to take similarity because she's super. They have to all be superhumans.
Right. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just one of those, let's stop the Nazis. I had to kind of watch this in a different light because I had just watched Invincible this morning, and some of the stuff they were doing to the Nazis, like, well, that guy exploded, Wonder Woman killed violently at least 18 of these guys, and I'm confusing Invincible's level of violence to DC's level of violence, but it's one of those, there should be a lot more blood and severed limbs because of this fight.
Okay, so they kind of toned down as far as the kill shot.
You know, she's putting people through walls and whatnot, and you know, I understand they're wearing a helmet, but a helmet's only going to protect you from so much.
Right, a helmet ain't going to protect you from concrete, but all right.
The other thing is, this Wonder Woman is a much more violent Wonder Woman because it's World War II.
Oh.
Like, she even tells Hawkman to Barry, when she's holding Barry out, it's like, make him talk. And like Wonder Woman, and like Hawkman's like, you have your lasso. We don't have time for this. Make him talk.
Dang.
So
she's like, you have a lasso of truth. I don't care. Make him talk.
Pretty much. But no, like, it's a fun, as dark as I make this sound, it's actually a very fun movie with a lot of surprise cameos, including one that's like, well, clearly I needed to see the showcase that was included in this for this cameo to make sense, because this certain character being in World War II makes no sense.
So they definitely do have some surprise as far as the show itself, as far as the setup.
Yes, and there's even a surprise about it being World War II, which I won't give away.
Okay. All right.
So I really, really enjoyed it. Again, kudos to the fact that this is a Flash movie. We do not get a lot of superhero movies outside of Batman, Superman, in the animated movies. To be completely honest, I am very much Batman fatigued.
Are we
if
all?
it is not Batman Ninja Turtles, I do not care.
Oh no, you're not the only one. I am a Batman fan to death, and I have sat there and said it many a times that I don't want to see another I love Batman. He is my, above all else, favorite superhero. But I am fatigued. It's like you have so many other people in the DC universe that you can go from and tell great other stories. I mean, like I said, just like Green Lantern, you can stick with the Guardian Corps, the Green Lantern Corps, and literally take any story and run with it, and make it a movie. I mean, you could, or you could do Booster Gold. You could do. He's
that other Green Lantern, right?
Yeah. So I mean, you can do those other ones. I mean, do Booster Gold with Nathan Fillion. Again, that would be perfect.
I do want to see a Batman movie, but it be the JLI Batman, where Batman is the only one serious and the JLI antics are ensuing.
I can see that, but it's like,
have you ever read that issue where Mr. Miracle and Barda have the barbecue and everyone shows up, but Batman can't get there because he doesn't drive in daytime traffic?
I don't think I've read that one.
Like the Joker tries and Batman pulls up, the house is on fire, and he's like, I sat in 3 hours of traffic. I'm never driving in the daytime again. He gets there, like, is the house on fire? Nope, and keeps on driving.
I have to go back and read that one. But overall,
it's one of the annuals, I believe.
Okay, I'm gonna get that information from you later about that one. But for that movie, that makes me want to go watch it now, because if you liked it, I'm definitely watching it.
Fantastic.
Cool. That lets me know that I'm gonna be okay in watching it.
Like I said, the proxy villain is somebody that has only existed because of a printing error. I'll explain it to you offline because I don't want to spoil it for anybody else.
I'm gonna watch after this podcast is over. So that's all I was like, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. So that's fine. I know, like I said, it's definitely worth watching. I was gonna say this is usually part of the story. Like I said, we're going through Marvel withdrawal. Video game news. There really isn't a lot aside from Resident Evil. Resident Evil Village will be getting released very soon. Although
we got Pokemon Snap out.
Yes. I thought it was out Wait a minute. Was it
No,
out
it comes out
yesterday?
today.
Was it today or yesterday?
Comes out today.
See, Pokemon Snap. See, maybe to me it's I understand the allure of Pokemon Snap, but I was more of the Pokemon tournament or the battles. That was my favorite.
You were a stadium guy, I understand
Yes.
that, but some of us just want to relax and take pictures of our Embors or our Torterras or our Agrons. I'm giving away
But
my
you know-
favorite Pokemon people.
But you know the funny part about Pokemon Snap is a lot of people actually submitted that for their digital photography and got jobs. There's actually a guy, I cannot make this up, one good friend of mine who I won't say where he works, but it's a very famous photography company that makes great cameras. And the way he actually got his job, I kid you not, was due to his Pokemon Snap and showing the digital effects that he was doing with the photos and submitted that as part of his resume and got hired on the spot.
See, there you go.
And I was like, I thought they said people don't think video games can't get you jobs. I got a good friend of mine right now who's making a nice 6-figure salary, and he has to thank Pokemon Snap for him getting his job. So, I mean, like I said before, if you like Pokemon Snap, yeah, I didn't think it was going to be available. I thought it was yesterday, but I stand corrected. It's actually available today. And like I said, I was going into Resident Evil. The demo version will be available sometime tonight. So if you do have that downloaded, of course, this goes into the castle to where you'll have 30 minutes to go around because Resident Evil's Village will be coming out very soon. So once that's out, I will be playing that and giving that review.
Let's not kid ourselves. That thing's going to be coming out, and everyone's going to be looking for Lady Demascue. Don't lie to me.
That's that side of the internet. I'm just like, you boys go have fun. I've never seen to where guys are gonna sit there and go, I just want to be caught.
Somebody gave an interview with somebody, and I forget who it was, but I remember the line of, "You do understand Lady Demascue is going to become a grotesque monster," and the internet collective went, "Go on."
I've never seen even
I don't say this much, but y'all need Jesus.
Even the director for Resident Evil Village was like, we understand there is quite a large following regarding Lady Demascue. I was like, you just found out? I was like, sir, the internet works fast.
What was the other thing I saw? This was the meme. It's one of those meeting memes.
Yeah.
Like, this is Lady Demascue. She will be your main villain for Resident Evil Village. She is a 9-foot-tall woman who will relentlessly hunt you down like the Nemesis. The director. So how do they scare the character?
Scared.
Guy pitching Lady Demascue. What do you mean scared?
Right. I mean, so many cosplayers, and some of them are actually here locally in Nashville, have already did the cosplays for them. Our buddy who usually is here, Shadow of Shadow Entertainment, that we look out for him because he definitely does do cosplay shoots as well as boudoir. Pretty much anything you need, this guy can definitely shoot it. So shout out to Shadow Entertainment. I know right now he is definitely a busy man, but I definitely wanted to give him a shout out because the man does do great work. But there are so many cosplayers out there right now that are taking that Lady Demascue view, and I'm just like, Am I concerned that nobody? It's like, yes, Capcom is gonna get a crap load of money for this, but am I like, if you're the devs for this, and you're like, I'm gonna make her tall, I'm gonna make her menacing, I'm gonna make her utterly destructive and horrible, and the gamer guy's gonna be like, I just want to be caught by her. It's like,
I'm surprised we haven't seen any shipping art between her and Nemesis at this point.
Give it a second.
I really have.
Give it a second. Yeah, like I said, the internet stays undefeated. Give it a second. But
I probably brought that into existence by saying
you
that.
probably did. You probably opened that door just by asking that question. But aside from that, Joe, anything as far as in the world of comic book news recommendations that you like to bring up?
Well, we got video game things. Monster Hunter Rise is continuing to be a joy and pleasure. We actually just went into the version 2.0 update, which is now called Monster Hunter Rise Virgin. I don't name these people. It's not my fault. We get 3 Elder Dragons and 1 surprise, which is annoying as all get out, but I've dealt with him in World. I'll deal with him here.
Dang.
I have already been put in well over 300 hours into this.
Why does that sound like why does that sound like that's hateful? I've dealt with him in World. I will deal with him. Why did that sound so hateful?
You know, this monster is one of those. He's one of those intrusive species.
Okay.
But unlike Devil Joe, you get like a roar, and then all of a sudden everything's blowing up.
Okay.
So, like I said, I've dealt with him before. I'll deal with him again.
That sounds like some
this
hate.
time around, even easier because the wire bug and the hammer are best friends.
Why does that sound like that's like it's like I finally got you. It's like a Dark Souls ending. It's like I finally.
Oh, no, I've already made armor out of his skin and bones.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you're like me and I say Dark Souls, anybody that's ever played Dark Souls or played Dark Souls 2 or Scholar of the First Sin, and you've had many a times where you was ready to break that controller.
He's much worse in World than he is in this one because of the increased mobility and rise. He is not that big of an issue.
Gotcha. But I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue.
No, we got an update. We got 3 Elder Dragons, Teostra, Kushladora, and a returning from one of the older monster hunters, Chameleos.
Okay.
We also get new Apex monsters for Rampages, which is the tower defense version in the game, and we get to hunt previous Apex monsters in the wild.
Nice.
Both Kushladora and Teostra are their older versions, which are much harder than the world versions.
Okay. So let me stop you there for a second. So if you're like me, like I said, Joe, you've probably put in how many hours in Monster Hunter by now?
Rise, it says around 287.
Okay. So if you're like me, because I actually have it now, but I also have Breath of the Wild that I'm playing. And as a Zelda disciple, I have to play Breath of the Wild first to complete it before I can go on to Monster Hunter Rise. For anybody that's wondering about Monster Hunter Rise, is it a game that you recommend? And if so, just what, because you're, like I said, you're well over 200 plus hours in it, what's the best class you believe to start with?
That's very hard to say because everybody has their own thing. Me personally in World, I actually use Gunlance. Which is a decent defensive weapon type. You have the second best shield in the game. But because of the game's increased mobility, I'm having a lot more fun with the hammer. And I've never touched hammer in World, but hammer is so much fun in this because of the mobility bug they give you.
Okay, so it's a buff. It's a mobility buff and not a trait.
No, it's a trait. It's a mobility bug. That works on a cooldown timer. So you have two of it. You have two of them that continuously cycle. You can pick up a third temporary one, and combat is so much more fast-paced and fluid for all the weapons that it makes it so much easier to use some of the weapons you've never used before. Like, I'm also right now. I went with hammer and switch axe. I'm learning hunting horn right now. Because of the increased mobility, I may actually give greatsword a shot because it means I can move around easier.
Okay. But I wanted you to talk about it. But like I said, you definitely got more into it than I have. I know once I get through with Zelda, I will finally be able to join you and probably be cannon fodder for a little while, but until I level up. But I know, but like I said, I wanted you to talk about it just because you definitely have put in the work on that. But what else you got?
All right, World of Comics. We got, we'll say 4.5.
4.5? Okay.
Well, I'll explain mine a bit.
Okay.
First off, I want to go over to Beta Ray Bill. This is a miniseries. It is actually created by the creator, Beta Ray Bill. He is both writer and artist. So Daniel Warren Johnson. The whole thing is, Beta Ray Bill is kind of picking up some pieces because when Thor became All-Father, he got into a big argument with Beta Ray Bill and shattered Stormbreaker. So the bad thing is this did not revert Bill to his original humanoid Corbinite form. This kept him into his cyborg horseman form.
So, Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead, because I had a
So the
question.
first issue is him finding Thor while dealing with the whole King in Black thing. Because Asgard was being invaded by a venomized Thing Fang Foom. So that battle goes fine. Thor shows up and pretty much steals all of Beta Ray Bill's thing. Him and Sif are kind of an item, and she just literally takes me and is like, yeah, let's go, Bang. I'm tired of this party.
Dang.
And then like, Beta Ray Bill, she's like, so how does this work? It's like, well, we take off our clothes. Like, no, how do you go back to your human form? Because, I understand this is battle form. I want the real you.
Yeah.
He's like, well, Thor shattered the hammer and I can't. She's like, ooh.
This is awkward.
And no, she even's like, look, I really do like you, but I like you for who you are, not what you are. And I want to be with the real you, not buffed up cyber horseman. And so he's like, he understands, and he's not heartbroken, and because, she's at least upfront with him about it.
True.
It's like, it's not that I don't find you unattractive as this, I just want to be with the actual you. And then he finally meets up with Thor, and it's like, so, you broke my hammer. It's like, Thor's like, yeah, sorry about that. It's like, are you going to make me another one? It's like, I don't really do that. It's like, you're the All-Father now. It's like, look, sucks to be you, I'm me.
Dang.
Yeah, Thor's kind of a dick in this one.
Yeah. Sucks to be you.
Pretty much. Like, he tries to, like, I can give you all the weapons in Valhalla, or in Asgard. It's like, I want Stormbreaker, so I can go back to being me. And then Thor's like, yeah, I can't help you.
He can't go back to Nelva. He can't go back to, so, I'm sorry, I might be jumping ahead. I'm like, so Nelva Neera is no longer an option?
Yeah. So, we jumped up issue 2, which has a really nice splash page of his ship, the Scuttlebutt, and all the rooms in the Scuttlebutt. Like, it's the complete layout of the ship, including a compartment on the lower bridge where we see the writer and artist sitting in a little room drawing the comic.
Dang.
If you look hard enough. But, like, he goes up in there because the Scuttlebutt's like, so, we got an extra person on the ship, and it's Scourge. And Scourge is like, hey, what's up? And then Vader's like, but you died. Scourge's like, yeah, I did die. I went to Valhalla. It was boring. And he's like, why was it boring? There were no guns.
Dang.
It's like, how is that place paradise without any guns? So they're continuing that Carl Urban version.
So they
of
extended
Scourge.
Urban from Ragnarok, right?
So he's like, so he even says, like, look, I was ethereal. I saw your thing with Lady Sif. My heart goes out to you. Mm-hmm. Let's go get a drink. I'll be your wingman. It's like, we got to go find the All-Father. I think I know where he is. So they go to a bar immediately, and 3 steps in, there's already a bar fight because of Scourge.
Yeah.
And then Odin comes out because apparently it's his bar. And Odin's like, yeah, I can't help you either. Not that I don't want to.
Dang.
It's now Thor's the actual All-Father, so I don't have my powers.
Dang.
It's like, but I can tell you where you can go to get somebody that has powers equivalent to mine. It's like, all right, fine. Yeah, you'll have to go to Muspelheim and go see Surtur.
Wow.
And he's like, the guy you gave me Stormbreaker to fight is the one I have to turn to. It's like, yeah, it's like, you know what, sure. Sure. And as they're crossing into Muspelheim, his Scuttlebutt pulls a Green Lantern, the animated series, and makes an AI robot copy of itself.
Wow.
At the end of the issue. Oh, and also Pip the Troll is there just because.
What, just to add the cherry on top of
Beta Ray Bill's bad day. Like, why are you even here? It's like, dude, I'm a troll. Literally the definition of repulsive. You desire to love yourself. I'm with you just to let you know, hey, I need to love myself too. Let's go on a journey to go find the love in ourselves.
It's bad.
And Bill is just like, sure.
It's just why should the story should just be called Beta Ray Bill's Bad Day. That's what it should
really
be.
is.
It should be called Beta Ray Bill's Bad Day.
So yeah, so this is only issue 2.
Oh wow!
Highly recommend this.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a joy because it's just everyone craps on poor Beta Ray Bill.
I was like, it just feels. It's like, you know what? This is the episode. It's like, if this is Breaking Bad, this is basically what happens before he becomes.
Now, honestly, this is the title I want to give this. Beta Ray Bill, do Cyborg Horsemen's Cry.
Wow. We're gonna find out tonight. We're gonna find out. Okay, so
the other thing I got, book 2 is Robin issue 1 by Josh Williamson. Josh Williamson finished up both his work on Batman Superman, most notably his 116-page issue epic of The Flash.
Okay.
And now he is working on Robin. So Robin he's basically going to enter the Dragon Style martial arts tournament with every martial artist in the DC universe.
So this is Damian.
This is Damian.
Okay.
So this is another way. It's like, so you're the son of the Bat, and he's like, well, I'm more than that. It's like, no, you're the son of the Bat. It's like, no, my mother is the most dangerous woman alive. I am grandson to the Demon's Head.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just looking at us like, yeah, but you're the son of Batman. No one cares.
Even though your mom kind
So
of
this is him going to the
sided you the
tournament.
wrong way, but we're not going to talk about that. But go ahead.
No, this is Damian when he's not an idiot, not a jerk kid.
Mm-hmm.
This is that Damian I can get behind. When Grant Morrison was writing Damian, when it was Damian and Dick as Batman and Robin.
Okay.
This Damian.
Gotcha.
So he gets into the island. There's a running theme, I guess, with all the Bat family comics, because also in Tom Taylor they have this homelessness issue, where Damian just like hands him his wallet and like takes out a giant wad of cash because he's a Wayne. To this one family just asking on the side of, hey, do you have any money to spare?
Right.
Well, here's $2,000. I don't need money on this island anyways.
Dang.
So he goes to this island, and we see all sorts of people here. Bronze Tiger, which is the female Bronze Tiger,
Okay.
who apparently beat Richard Dragon to get on this tournament.
Really?
Black Swan is on. That's what she says.
Okay.
Black Swan is also here. Ravager is on the boat. Someone called Respawn, who pretty much just looks like, and I kid you not, Kid Deathstroke.
I'm sorry.
Even like Ravager just looks him up and down, and he's like,
Uh-huh.
I got my reasons for looking like this. And she's like, your reasons are going to get you killed by me.
Just dang.
So we meet the tournament master. This Shang Tsung is Mother Soul. That's what she goes by. Mm-hmm. She is the same Shang Tsung in this. We see a lot of cameos. We see Talon. We do see some very important things. We see the return of Connor Hawke.
Oh, okay.
We see what may be Superboy and a Masked Cassie same arc, but I'm not entirely sure about that. It could be Whisper Adair and her husband. So I'm not sure on that. But just the way the art is, it makes me think it's like, so is that Cassie and Connor on the island? Connor Kent, not Connor Hawke.
Right.
Two brothers. So Damien, of course, says like,
a fight. But go ahead.
Yeah. So Damien being Damien, it's like, well, you all know who I am. I'm getting tired of hearing I'm the son of the Bat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be the first up in this little opening exhibition tournament. Who do we get? So we get this new character called Flatline. And Flatline, Damien's like, well, you're not going to beat me. I'm being trained by the greatest fighters alive.
Mm-hmm.
And Flatline goes like, well, that's real interesting. Except my superpower is I inherit any moves of people that have died around me. And I've died around, and a lot of martial artists have died around me. She kind of has Doomsday's ability where Oh, here it is. I was trained by some of the greatest fighters to ever die. I have absorbed their defeats, and my body has learned from them. So she's kind of like Doomsday and Taskmaster
Put together, yeah.
put together. So Damien gets like 4 moves off, and then she rips Damien's heart out.
Nice.
And she's like, yeah, so on Lazarus Island, every fight is a fight to the death, and no one really dies.
Right.
But you just died because of me, so no one's gonna be able to take my heart.
So there was a step to it. He's like, I let you do it.
No, he literally just has the big splash page is a hole in his chest.
Wow.
With Flatline holding his heart in his hands. It's like, well, I can't die from this now. So the whole reason he's actually here,
wow.
in the DC universe, we have the League of Assassins, the League of Shadows, and now we have the League of Lazarus. And that's what he's trying to figure out because even his grandfather doesn't know what the League of Lazarus is.
Wow. So Ra's al Ghul does, okay, so they're still saying that Ra's al Ghul in this case isn't behind it.
Yes.
Okay.
So definitely recommend this just from like experience with Josh Williamson. He does amazing work. His Flash is only second to the Mark Waid run of Flash in my opinion, but that's just me.
I saw that coming. You
But I'm a
hesitated.
Wally guy. Jared will definitely say Williamson. I'm more than okay with that. Me and him go back and forth on that a whole bunch. We know where each other stand. We're good with it. But no, that's not to say I dislike Williamson. It's just I prefer Mark Waid.
I know. Jared's not here to defend himself. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm never going to say anything bad about it. Next up, we travel over to Valiant because Colin Bunn, fresh off his run on Venom, is working on the reworked version of Shadow Man. For those unfamiliar with Shadow Man, this is a Louisianan voodoo spirit possessing a guy, and he is putting down all the demons and bad juju all over Louisiana.
So basically, he's well, no, he wasn't Justice League Dark. Never mind. Go ahead. He was also Justice League Dark.
So this is just an introduction to the series. He's already fighting some sort of giant demon who's being trying to be. It looks like he's killed a bunch of these dudes, but you'll find out later they were trying to capture him because they captured the demon's wife. So Shadow Man kills him and sends him back to the demon world, and in his dying plea, it's like, you need to go save her. They're doing terrible things to her. So it's an interesting book. I don't want to go too far into this because this is only the first issue. So this is setting up a lot of stuff, but this is a very interesting thing because we don't get to see a superhero steeped in Louisianan mythology and mysticism a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I think Brother Voodoo is as much as we get, and even then that's kind of stretching it. So
I can see that. I can see that. You're right. I had to think
there's
about it for a
not
second.
very many voodoo or Mardi Gras or Bayou-related superhero mysticism superheroes.
Yeah.
We see plenty of Bayou heroes because we have like Swamp Thing and Man Thing, but not like who's channeling
voodoo, right?
Channeling voodoo actively.
Yeah. You're right. I had to think about that for a second. You're right.
He even has like his own kind of like skeleton guy called Baron Semedy, who is just kind of like his, I don't know, kind of his Zarathos. Even though he's not empowering him, he's kind of like a demon guide.
Oh, so he's kind of like not the devil on your shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a bicolored skeleton too, so half his skeleton is black and half of his skeleton is white. But he's dressed like somebody who is like a Mardi Gras parade official.
So basically, a Two-Face with the New Orleans.
Yes. But he's a good guy telling him, so here's where bad stuff is going down. You need to get rid of this to balance out the scales.
Yeah. Okay.
We also see that he has a really kick-ass scythe that is a scythe that turns into a chainwheel.
Nice. So they kind of took a little bit of Dante's Inferno out of it. Okay.
Yeah. So the half issue we're going to talk about. This is free. This is Marvel Guides to the Hellfire Gala, which is the new big summer event for X-Men.
Right.
This actually gives you the invitation itself, so you get to see Emma Frost officially invites you to celebrate mutant culture and strengthen Krakoa's friendship to the nations of man. So this event is going to be pretty much, I'm assuming, big shots from the human world and mutants trying to congregate and try to make peace so that Krakoa can start entering normal places a bit more freely, and they're not always doing black market trade deals constantly.
Yeah, okay.
You get like a whole itinerary, so gate open at 7, cocktail hour. This one's pretty funny, a telepathic concert.
Telepathic.
Dinner, introduction to the new X-Men of Krakoa.
A telepathic concert? I'm sorry. I joke with in my head just now, but go ahead.
Introduction to the new X-Men of Krakoa, because this is coinciding with the launch of the new X-Men series. Mm-hmm. Celebration and dancing and closing remarks from Emma Frost. And then a final play.
Closing remarks. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We also get a small interview between Ben Urich and Emma Frost about everything going on. Just like, what's so-and-so wearing? What's the purpose of this? Like, someone asks them, like, so what will Dazzler be wearing? And it was like, oh, honey, whatever strikes her, it's Dazzler.
Oh, boy. Whatever strikes her fancy. Oh, wow.
Okay. Then we get to see all the Hellfire Gala designs. Some of them are their concept designs, like Emma Frost has 3 concept designs, and then her official design.
Okay.
And then we'll get to see what everybody looks like via their placement in the books, because this is a 12-issue event running all through June and into July. So we'll get to see like everybody's attire. We'll see Rogue and Kate and Jean and Cyclops. Then we see X-Corp has it. We see the Colossus that everyone's already, what's the term? Thirsty, is that it?
I don't know. Thirsty, I don't know. People still use thirsty, so let's go with that.
Okay. A lot of people on Twitter have really taken to Colossus because of this thing.
Now I gotta see what he looks like. I have to see what he looks like now.
Just Google Colossus Hellfire Gala.
As you're okay, go ahead. I'm on my side of the world, but go ahead.
I mean, there's not really too much to talk to. These are all just designs because we're gonna get to see what everybody's wearing. Dakin doesn't have shoes. Sebastian Shaw is still wheelchair bound because of what Emma and Kate did to him for killing Kate previously. We see Iceman looking more fantastic than Lady Gaga. We see Mr. Sinister with an even bigger cape and even bigger pauldrons.
That's not surprising.
Well, that's kind of an ongoing thing in Hellions. They do like a side thing for Mystique. I do like some of the stuff they have in there. It's like gown, House of Carnation.
I'm sorry. I just saw it. Wow.
Yeah, people are going after Colossus, something fierce.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We do get to see what Dazzler wearing. 80% of that costume is nothing but sparkles.
Not surprising.
Nightcrawler looks like he's just a D&D character.
No. In his defense, he always looks like a D&D character, but go ahead.
No, he literally looks like a swashbuckler from D&D.
I'm sorry. Poor Kurt Wagner. Poor Kurt Wagner.
Warlock just has a bow tie, man of himself.
Yep, that's about right.
Magic has giant demon horns because it's her.
And the fact she likes to shock people, so that's about right.
Magneto strangely looks like a costume he wore very reminiscent of House of M.
I mean, it was a sharp suit. I'm gonna call it what it is. It was sharp.
We get to see Manifold, who's starting to become very popular as a character. Power is he can talk to space itself and fold space around it. So he's not a teleporter. He just asks space itself, "Can you put me here?"
So he's Dr. Manhattan.
Well, he can't. He can only do that.
Okay, well, limited Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. Wolverine just has a tuxedo.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture. I had it pulled up on my other screen, and I saw that when I was just. I see why the internet is having a field day with Colossus right now. They're having a field day with that.
It's like he came out of the 70s.
Yeah. That's just funny. That's just. Sometimes I think they did that on purpose.
And then at the very end, we get to see each issue and in the correct order of which one's going to where it starts. We of course see that something's going to kick it off. The Hellion. It's more likely going to be the Hellions. I guarantee it.
But that's the reason why it's a half. But why? But it's only a half issue because it's what is it? Just like a lead up to the next one.
Well, it's a lead up, and what it really is it's just like pictures of what everybody will be wearing because you want to see what the artists have done because these are all varying artists for their books.
Gotcha.
So this is more of an issue just to show off artist talent more than anything else.
Okay. So that's the reason why it's a half.
Then, like I said, you see the program of events, which is what issues will be corresponding in the correct order of which it happens. And then it all ends off with Gary Duggan and Pepe Loreza's X-Men 1, which I talked about on a previous episode, where it's a new X-Men lineup of Jean, Cyclops, the Wolverine is Laura, Rogue, Polaris, and Sync.
Huh. I can see that.
Oh, and Sunfire.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna be. Oh, they just do that. Okay, that's just gonna be chaos.
Yeah, I think Sunfire's a bit more chill these days.
Well, either way, it's gonna. It's just weird that it's weird they're coming out with a half series, a half series for that. But then again, I guess I can kind of see it. You want to do the introduction all the way to the lead up. So I guess that makes sense. Just never really heard of a half issue in a while. Usually,
well, it's only, like I said, it's a half issue because it's free and it's letting you know, hey, here's what the next big X-Men event is.
Yeah.
Because the fallout of this event is the formation of the new X-Men, because the X-Men are formed usually to help either protect humans from mutants or keep humans from persecuting mutants.
Right.
And currently, we have no official X-Men team because everything is happening on Krakoa.
Right.
Or Anorak, or the other Krakoan islands. Because remember last week we talked about how Fabian Cortez was just waiting to be fired.
Yeah.
Oh, Araco. Araco, or Monarch's Kingdom, which is Jamie Braddock, Captain Britain's brother, more villainous brother.
Yeah.
So they're all dealing with the realms, but we don't get anything from the human realm. Or from the actual human thing, save for like very brief snippets in Marauders. But most of the X-Men books, since X-Men took over, has been intermutant stuff. So there's never been a need for X-Men. Or a proper team of X-Men.
Right.
Because they see it, we don't need X-Men, we are not dealing with humans right now. So whatever happens at this event is going to force a formation of X-Men.
Sounds like it. Okay, that explains the half. That explains the half comic though. But what else you got?
New Mutants. The new issue, New Mutants, continues to be good. The guy that was the original host for Shadow King is now talking to Danny. Wolfsbane. That poor woman. If you've read New Mutants, that woman cannot catch a break to save her life.
People are still waiting for the movie. That's the sad part. But
What are you talking about? I have the movie.
The New Mutants? Not the one they tried to do. The one they kept pushing back.
Yeah, I have that movie.
Oh, am I just slow to the party? I thought the movie ever got released.
It's on HBO Max now.
Ah. Okay.
I went to go see it in theaters with Jared last July.
I am late to the party. I could have sworn that movie never got released, but I'm sorry.
And then it splits up with some of the younger New Mutants, where they are like mind swapping for bodies. This is more in particular to like Anoli, who is very much kind of a variation on Beast Boy, except he doesn't like what he looks like.
Yeah, so he's not.
So he goes and asks Honey Badger, which is Laura's little sister.
Uh-huh.
It's like, hey, why are you taking part in this? Like, she's like, well, because I like who I am. Like, I have this wonderful pet Wolverine, Jonathan, and she picks him up. He's like, well, it's not all easy for someone. It's like, oh, I know. It's like, but, you are you, and I like you. And he's like, no, you don't get it. You can look like you. I have to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll see you at the Crucible, which we've already talked about what the Crucible is.
Yeah. Dang.
And then the third story is, because it's 3 separate storylines going on in this, and it's Danny and Karma looking for a mutant that hasn't been seen for a while.
Uh-huh.
This is the one that's been giving rise in Jersey to the research of the Jersey Devil, just because he doesn't really have any powers, he's just a physical mutation.
Yeah.
And they catch up to him after going on some mystical quest, and he's in one of the magical realms. And he's with some friends who he's made, which are mostly vampires. It's like, yeah, it turns out I actually have a power. I'm immune to stuff like this. But it's like, all right, well, cool, come on back. It's like, no, I really don't want to.
Damn.
And they're like, well, I mean, it's like, yeah, and it's honestly kind of boring. You can only go to so many parties. I mean, yeah, I go to parties here, but I go to parties with friends, and I kind of have a life here. They're like, well, you're here, so if you die, Cerero can't back you up, and you're dead.
Right.
It's like, all right, tell you what. I'll come back once a month. That way we can do the backup. I'll check in, but I'm going to stay here. Even like the little vampire he's with, he's just in the background, but you see him wave.
God.
So they're coming back, and they're like, all right, well, what do you want to do? And then Danny's like, well, you want to go pick out gowns for this Hellfire Gala thing that we're going to be going to? Carmen's like, sure.
So it just sounds like it's all going to tie into this, but okay. But that's what you got, dude. I appreciate that, Joe. Like I said, we didn't really have a lot this week. Like I said before, I like to call it the post Marvel withdrawals, because we get so tied into these series, and then once they're gone, they are completely and utterly out the door, and then we're back to being like missing a fix. But with that being said, we're probably gonna call it here. So, Joe, anything that you want to promote? Let everybody know what you're doing.
Playing Monster Hunter. Definitely go read the Totally Bogus Journeys of Beta Ray Bill, guys. That has been has just been a joy, even though it's been such a crap fest on poor Bill, but it's really well done, and I always appreciate when the original creator comes back and does a story.
Still, Beta Ray Bill is having a really, really, really bad day. Jesus.
Thor, I just love Thor. It's like, I can't help. I am who I am.
Just
like, you give me back my hammer. It's like, nah, you're good.
I'm just mad that he was able to smash Stormbreakers. I was like, wait a second. I thought Stormbreaker was like Mjolnir. It's like one of the most I thought it was one of the unbreakable objects, and I guess they decided in this storyline, well, that was a lie.
Remember, he can break it. Thor can break it because he's the All-Father.
Right. Which again, it threw me off for a second. Like, well, I guess being All-Father doesn't mean you can actually destroy it. But with that being said, guys, like I said before, thank you, Joe, for doing that. As we're getting to this point, sir, like I said, the link at the bottom, if you copy and paste that, will take you to my link tree, which actually shows the Facebook and YouTube groups for all my podcasts, How the Fact We Got Here, Get Bit, and the Offense Podcast. The scheduling for my podcast doesn't change, guys. Every Wednesday from 8:30 to 10 is my political and U.S. news podcast, How the Frack We Got Here, which I go over everything that's going on in the U.S. from left to right in the middle. Of course, that's the midweek on Wednesdays. On Fridays from 8:30 to 10 is the Get Bit podcast that you're currently watching right now. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. to noon, will be the weekend edition of How the Frack We Got Here, followed by Saturday night, 8:30 to 10 p.m., will be the Offense Podcast, where we do talk about anything and everything. So with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it a night here. Hopefully you guys are safe and dry where you're at. Definitely be aware of COVID-19, getting your shots and things of that nature, but still wearing your mask just in case. But beyond that, like I said, the gaming channel, Pick Up the Sticks, will start very soon. I'm just waiting for one little bit. I won't say little. It's one piece of equipment I need to make it to tie the whole thing together. And then I'm going to start the Pick Up the Sticks Winter Stay On sessions, which means we are going to do Street Fighter. We are going to do Killer Instinct. We're going to do almost every major fighting games. And then we're going to go back and do some retro games. Like Silver Samurai, Ballerina Toshinde, I can't think of them all. King of Fighters, Guilty Gear. We're going to start doing those because, you know, a lot of these gaming tournaments around here don't really cover the games of old. And trust me, there are some wonderful fighting games out there if you're not really sure of them. But that's the whole point of Pick Up the Sticks, is that we're going to reintroduce you to those if you don't know what they are. So you can go ahead and play along with us, me and Joe, because I have a feeling that me and Joe are going to probably have some knockout, drag-out fights, especially across Street Fighter. So I'm looking forward to that. So with that being said, thank you all who liked, who watched, and shared. I know you can't start watch parties anymore. Zuckerberg killed all that. But thank you for doing that anyway. And aside from that, guys, hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you guys on my other podcasts tomorrow, starting with How the Frack We Got Here at 10 a.m. And, of course, the Lawfulness Podcast at 8:30 that night. So for Joe and myself, this has been Get Bit Podcast, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching the playback, please comment as if it's live. We still want to know what you guys think. But aside from that, he's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been Get Bit. Have a good night. Have a good night, guys. If I can make it to the end of this ending, my tongue is already going out the window. But thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. Peace.